For 2,500 years, merchants trading their wares along the Great Silk Road rested their caravans at Merv, an oasis in the Kara Kum desert in what is today Turkmenistan. Once a mighty center of commerce and learning to rival Baghdad or Samarkand, little is nowadays known of this fabled staging post. But now, thanks to the dedication of British archaeologist Georgina Herrmann and her team, the site is being explored and documented with some striking results. Her project has been hailed by historians and archaeologists alike as one of the most innovative and important carried out on the ancient route. In fact, her findings have been so significant, she hopes, with the help of the Rolex Award, to secure a coveted UNESCO Site of World Heritage designation to ensure Merv's continued preservation.
The site itself demands long-term involvement because it is not one site but many, and each of them requires a lot of study, preferably fairly soon before too much damage is done.
Herrmann, who lectures at University College London's Institute of Archaeology, spends up to 8 weeks a year on the site that from the outset has genuinely captivated her.
I came here on a visit in 1990. I'd never been in Central Asia before. It was my very first visit. I'd never seen a city like this before. And you came up to the top and you just looked at this quite unbelievable site, and I was just overwhelmed.
I will never forget walking up those walls for the first time and really falling for it, and never expecting that I would even return, let alone be able to run a project here.
But thanks to an invitation to join a UNESCO journey along the Great Silk Road, she was back within 6 months. Struck by the archaeological opportunities, she forged a partnership with Turkmen and Russian archaeologists to create the International Merv project, an enterprise devoted to excavate and record the site and understand how its people worked and lived. Kala was the first of a number of ancient walled cities that form the Merv site, all preserved by the Turkmen government in an archaeological park. One of the most unusual and outstanding features is the way the site developed. Each time a city went into decline and was abandoned, a new city arose beside its predecessor rather than being built on top of it, as, say, in Jerusalem. Uninhabited today and free of vegetation or sand, Merv offers Herrmann's team the chance to study the layout of 3 successive cities through time.
We're sitting in the citadel of the Seljuk city, known today as Sultan Kala, which was one of the greatest cities of the medieval world. Think of this city absolutely teeming with life. The oasis then had a population of about the same size as today. That's about 1 million, far bigger than centres in Europe and other countries. And it was an incredibly civilized and cultured place. It was fertile and rich. There were wonderful libraries here, famous across the world. It's a long, slow job, and this particular expedition can only hope to learn a tiny bit. I mean, we're hoping to make maps of the whole of all the different cities. This city is almost unknown, except from accounts in Arab literature, and you see a lot from air photographs, so things like the street layout. But what we don't really know is enough of hard facts.
Today, all that remains of Merv's historical treasures are the ruins of once magnificent buildings, buildings that bear testament to its importance both culturally and commercially as it linked east to west. But even now, one building, the Great Kiz Kala, still dominates the skyline.
That's one of the most striking monuments, and it's one of a sort of series of buildings with these extraordinary, what we call corrugated walls. They would have had a sloping platform and then these massive castle-like walls coming up, and the main life would have been on the first floor with a whole series of beautiful vaulted rooms all the way around a courtyard.
Because of the size and complexity of the project, Herrmann's team have used the most advanced research methods available, including satellite imagery and computer analysis. Some of their findings are helping to rewrite the history of this period, For instance, they have discovered that crucible steel was produced in the 9th century and that cotton, still the staple crop of the oasis, was being grown in the 5th century, far earlier than previous records indicated. The glory of Merv has long since faded, and modern Merv, the city of Marie, is located 30 kilometers away. It's a hard, tough, unyielding environment. You bake in the summer and freeze in the winter, creating a logistical nightmare for archaeologists. But nonetheless, the work goes on.
Life is continuous. And this sort of ongoing stream is something that has its roots deep in the past. And often to understand modern politics, you need to know a lot about the past as well, what was happening, what were their concerns, what was their culture, because it all grows out of the past.
Working against the background of a traditional male-oriented culture in a region in political transition, Herrmann has won the respect of everyone her project has touched. And now, with the benefit of the Rolex funding, she and her partners can continue to safeguard Merv's remarkable cultural heritage and preserve it from the ravages of the modern world.